Hi everyone, my name is Dani and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the reader habits tag for you all, so let's get into it. So I wanted to do a bit more of a chill video today, especially with everything that's going on in the world, so I figured this would be a good tag to do. I saw this over on Ariel Bissett's channel. I love her. You should go check her out if you haven't already. So I wasn't exactly tagged to do this tag, but I thought it was fun, so we're gonna do it. So let's go. The first question is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? I don't really have a certain place in my home that I like to read. I usually tend to read on my bed just because that's comfortable. I throw up a bunch of pillows so I can kind of relax and sit up. But that's really about it. I don't like reading at my desk because I kind of tend to hunch over and I find it very uncomfortable. So my bed is the place I tend to read. Next question. Bookmark or random piece of paper? I love bookmarks. I have so many of them. I have them in like this little basket thingy. I have a lot of different kinds. I have like this one that I got originally, I think when I was subscribed to Uppercase. I really like it. It's really pretty. It's made out of wood. I also just kind of have a bunch of these free ones that I got, that my mom got because she donates to the World Wildlife Fund. I think my friend for Christmas or my birthday, I can't remember which now, she got me a bunch of these little bookmarks, and they're like little leaves, and they're super cute, and I actually really like how they hold my place in my books. And then I also have these magnetic bookmarks that go on top of the page, and I really like these as well because they really hold my page very nicely. So as you can tell, I really love my bookmarks. I have on occasion used like a receipt or something, especially when I was younger and I went to like the Scholastic book fairs because I just didn't have a bookmark with me. So I will use a receipt or something, but on very, very rare occasions. Can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter / a certain amount of pages? I never feel I have to read a certain amount of pages. I feel like I tend to want to finish a chapter though. That's definitely a thing. I definitely have stopped in the middle of a chapter, but to me it just feels odd to stop in the middle of a chapter. Especially if they're short chapters, but if they're longer, then it takes a little more time to finish that chapter and I'm more likely to stop in the middle of it. But I do try really hard to finish a chapter before putting a book down. Do you eat or drink while reading? No, because I find it's really hard to do so, especially like with snacking, because a lot of the snacks that I like popcorn or chips or something, your hands get really messy and I don't want that to get into my book. And I also find it hard to hold some books with one hand, so that's why I kind of tend to not really do that. Like I'll place my book down, have a bit of a snack, then I'll go back to my book, but I can't do them simultaneously. Multitasking, music or TV while reading? I can't really listen to music while I read, and I don't really like to. I just kind of prefer silence around me unless like my mom is in the kitchen or the living room and she's playing music like I'm Pandora, but she usually likes to put on stuff that doesn't have lyrics, and that I can deal with having in the background, but I don't actually like put on music to have in the background while I read. I have read books while watching TV, but that's usually when I'm with my family in the living room and I'm not super into the TV show, or like I just rather be reading, and that's kind of when I tend to do that. But I don't do it very often. One book at a time or several at once? I'm definitely the person that will read several books at once. Some people just don't have the ability to do that, and that's totally fine. I'm one of those people that tends to do that, but sometimes it's hard because I have a bunch of books that I've started reading and I'm halfway through them and I haven't finished them and they're just sitting on my shelves half read. But I do find it's helpful if there is one book that I'm reading and I just want to take a break from it for whatever reason. I find it's good to just kind of go to another book for a little while and then I'll come back to the other one later. Reading at home or everywhere? I usually read at home, but I do read in my dorm at school. I think I've actually read at Starbucks too, but that's about it. I do like to bring a book with me, but sometimes I don't end up reading said book wherever I go. The most likely place would be a coffee shop or like a Panera or something of that nature, but most of the time my reading is done at home. Reading out loud or silently in your head? I read silently in my head. I don't really like reading out loud except maybe poetry. I think some poems can be a lot better when they're read out loud and they're meant to be read out loud, but that's about it. I never really read out loud. Do you read ahead or even skip pages? I'm very guilty of doing this, especially when I'm kind of bored in the moment where I'm actually reading, and I'll skip ahead like to the next chapter to see what happens. Sometimes I do want to skip pages, but I just can't bring myself to do it. It just doesn't feel right. I know some people are really good like skim readers, but I can't do that. Breaking the spine or keeping it like new? I think this depends on the book. Sometimes I like to break the spine on paperbacks if it's already kind of broken. Like here, I'll show you an example. This is a copy of The Raven Boys that I have that I bought secondhand. So the spine is already broken when I bought it, but I don't mind it. I actually really like it. I think it's easier to lay flat and actually makes it a little bit easier to read and even to hold in my hand. So I think it's actually a good thing. I don't purposely do it, but I don't mind that it's done for this particular copy of a book that I have. And now the last question of this tag is, do you write in your books? I don't really write in my books, but I do highlight them. For example, this is my copy of Shatter Me, which I just did a review on, so check that out. So I like to highlight my books for like important quotes, or especially if I'm reviewing a book, I like to highlight quotes that just illustrate points that I might make later in a video, but most of the time I just kind of like to highlight quotes that I like. I have written in books, but those are mostly ones for school, and I really like to take a lot of notes and see what's going on. And I know some professors and teachers actually want you to annotate your books, and I've actually found it really helpful. I do like to at least highlight. I don't always write in my books though. And that, guys, is the Reader Habits tag. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Let me know what some of your answers are to this question. If you've made a video, let me know and I'll go watch it for you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you want to see more content from me, please subscribe and like this video, and I will just see you guys all later. Bye!